Coexistence, My Ass is about comedian Noam Shuster Eliassi. She was born in an area called the Oasis of Peace, which is in the middle of Israel and Palestine. This area was it is supposed to be an area where Israelis and Palestinians can live together in peace. It's kind of like to show the other countries that, okay, we can live in peace, we can live in harmony, and that's where she grew up with her parents. Noam has a one-woman show called Coexistence, My Ass, and she, in the documentary, we see her performing this act, and we also see how she grew up, her career, and how she became who she is today. Coexistence, My Ass is directed by Amber Farrers, and this is her second feature documentary after Speed Sisters. Coexistence, My Ass was an entertaining documentary, but for me, it left me quite unfulfilled. Noam, she's a very funny, engaging comedian, and she's had a very interesting career. She started like as of going to Harvard University, and she's worked for the United Nations, and now she's trying to use comedy to put her point of view across. It was interesting as the film goes on when she starts to get into comedy. She tours the world with her act, and it's interesting when she goes back to Israel and Palestine. She has to adapt her comedy to the different countries, and she has to be careful what she says. So that part of the film was interesting, and it's nice when she finally finds a way to be herself. But she has kind of like a weekly or daily spot on a television show where she has kind of like her own. She can do some skits on TV, and she can be herself, and that was interesting. That how she can adapt her comedy to different countries. The film follows her as she starts to go to Harvard University to develop her comedy, and the film follows maybe in the late 2010. So the film goes through the COVID stage where we follow her when she's got COVID and she has to go in quarantine, and then after that, the war breaks out in Israel and Palestine again, and we follow her through that. The third act of the film is when the war breaks out again between Israel and Palestine, and that's for me when the film lost me. The film just isn't quite sure what to say. The first half of the film is following a comedian, and she's quite doesn't know what to do with her life, and that because she doesn't know what to do with her life, it kind of carries on into the film. The film, as it goes on, it just doesn't know what it wants to be, doesn't know what it wants to say, and when the war breaks out in Israel and Palestine, in the Gaza Strip, it just gets even more murky. It's just is this a documentary on the war? Is it a documentary on the comedian? Or what is it trying to say? Like the plot for this film is comedian Noam Shuster Eliassi's one-woman show tackles the Israeli-Palestine conflict and the struggle for equality, challenging audiences with uncountable truths. With her pursuit of coexistence starts sounding absurd. So we do get snippets of her one-woman show, but that plot synopsis we don't really get in the film. We don't really get in detail of, okay, how can these two countries coexist? Was this area, this oasis of peace, was it a success? Is it a failure? Can it ever work? The film doesn't explore this at all. It doesn't explore the coexistence theory at all. It just goes from exploring comedian Noam and then going to this conflict, and then it gets very murky and just doesn't know what it wants to say as the film goes on. Coexistence, My Ass, I give 3 stars out of 5. I know she's a very engaging, funny personality. It was very interesting to see how she grew up, and it was interesting to see how she adapted her comedy to different countries. So that was very interesting. But for me, this film left me very unfulfilled. It didn't really explore a lot of the themes that it brings up. It doesn't explore the coexistent themes, And as the film went on, I just didn't know what it was trying to say. So entertaining, but quite unfulfilling documentary for me. So what did you think of Coexistence My Ass? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.